do you feel about love?
Uh,
Do you wanna
ambiguous.
be you team single, team union? What's your preferred choice of lifestyle? Do you prefer being with someone or?
I think overall I prefer being with somebody.
And I
Yeah.
also heard like Europe girls from Netherlands are here. They're just crazy. They swing both ways and everything, which is not a bad thing. Like to each his own. But
Yeah, I mean,
what kind of lifestyle are you into?
a lot of. I have to say that a lot of white girls that come here fetishize black guys up to a point where it's just becoming creepy.
Hey, jungle fever. It's called jungle
Yeah.
fever. Do you have that? Do you think you have that?
I don't
hold
think I
on,
have
hold
jungle
on,
fever.
hold on. No, hold on.
You were
No.
asking me a question.
Yeah, hold on. I see you rushing somewhere. Hold on. I'm just saying. You know why? I want to know why you think like other girls. Okay, let's start with this. Why do you think other girls from Europe are over, like you said, over fatty?
Yeah, sexualizing
Yeah.
African guys up until a point where it just
Huh? Who never knew? You never knew. I never knew.
you didn't know. But of course, like this.
Is that a
happens-
bad thing though?
I mean, it is.
What?
I think it is.
Oh, women call us trash every day. I mean, like, it would be good to know, like, somebody somewhere is thinking, like, oh, if I have this Kenyan boy.
I'll send you
oh.
a couple links so you can look up information on this.
Oh,
But,
okay, yeah.
During colonial times,
Yeah.
and also during the times of slavery in the U.S., the reigning white powers would kind of spread this myth that African men have this appetite for sex that is just
It's not true.
humongous compared to white people, and they're always
course.
after sex all the time, and they all have huge dicks, is what everybody thinks.
They don't?
And no. And then people have been spreading these stories for decades,
Please keep spreading those stories. We like this. No,
and I think it's doing harm
no.
because it's.
What harm is it doing?
I don't think
Please,
it's good to fetishize people in
What?
any situation.
please fetishize us as much as you want. I'm speaking on behalf of me and my friends. Please do.
So there's like I've noticed this in Europe and in the US as well, that many white girls want to try and have sex with a black guy just once in their lives,
Oh, just once?
and then to try it and then just move on to the white
No.
guy.
If it's just to try, no. Mm-mm.
This is a thing though.
But if you do appreciate and just like you're intrigued with someone, I think maybe that's
Yeah, I mean, if you're genuinely interested in somebody, I mean,
yeah.
do whatever you want to do, but don't harm people in any way. Yeah.
So that's all you have to say about
About jungle
Bla-
fever.
about jungle fever. Sexual appetite.
I mean, I was with the same guy for 9 years. So the last year of my life, I'm 27 now.
Just for the record, let's say you dated a black guy since you were a teen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since from the time that I was 17 till
Yeah.
I was 26.
Yeah.
So this is the first year of my adult life in which I've been single.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
Okay, now that's when it's playing now in my head. Okay, now I understand.
yeah. So I've been dating around. Now I've met somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm behaving at this point, just sticking to one guy.
I'm behaving at this point.
He's not my boyfriend, but that might happen in the future. I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Patient. We're taking things slow. So
But what do you think? Why do you think a lot of just like since you brought it up, like I think like now it's like a trend, like a lot of like I think it's Dutch girls. They are very fascinated with just
really, Dutch girls specifically?
No, okay. Let me say European.
I think it's
Europe
European in general.
European in general.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's this Afrobeats thing that set it off for us and it's doing well. I mean, but I mean, you can bust a move, do any of the Nigerian dances. You're good.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I don't know what it is.
What do you like about black guys?
I mean, I can't make statements like this because that would mean that black guys have some factors in common that they all have, which is not true.
It's not.
And I'm
you know
not
what they say about black guys?
Yeah, that's also a myth.
What? Well, first
That's
of
a
all,
myth.
I also need to know if we're on the same page. What are you talking about?
That they all have a big dick, which is not true.
No, I wanted to say like black men don't cheat. That's what I
Alright.
wanted to say.
No, they don't. They never do.
So I didn't even know about this thing that you're bringing up. I didn't know this penis size thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, but they don't cheat.
They don't cheat, right?
No, never. That's the reason why I like it so much.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so it's a myth. It's not true that all guys are blessed indeed. I mean, I wouldn't know because, like, I'm a guy. I mean,
No, definitely.
I don't pay attention to
I'm
that.
not going to share any details
I'm
on
not
this.
going
but
to
it's-
compare my size with my friends everywhere. We don't do that. So, I mean, I would want to know from, like you,
No, it's
from
not
a
true.
female. It's not true.
No, definitely
I'm sorry,
not.
these guys have disappointed you. Shame on you. You know yourselves. Shame on you. We have a reputation to keep.
Yeah.
But do you think you're more like, is it something that was acceptable, like you just growing up, since you're saying, you know, from 17 you're dating like somebody from a different ethnicity, just like from your environment, like let's say in Holland in general, is it common? Is it something that it's just like
It's not uncommon, but
Uh-huh.
from the area where I was from, there
Yeah.
weren't a lot of black people around at all. I think when I started dating my ex, he was one of 3 black people on the entire island. So everybody knew him, and I had known him since I was a kid.
also yeah
I didn't know him well, but I knew who he was just because he stood out from the crowd.
yeah, definitely. It's 3 people. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I think my parents have always been very accepting of everybody.
That's nice.
So they didn't give a fuck about who I was dating as long as I was happy.
Yeah.
So I wasn't out to like date a black guy. I just fell in love with him.
Yeah.
We connected, and then we had a relationship for 9 years. But I'm not saying that I would never fall for a white guy. It's just never happened before in my
I don't
life.
think so. They say once you go black, I mean,
They say that,
Yeah.
but I've seen the opposite happen in my
Really?
surroundings. Yeah.
what was wrong with this person or with this
I don't know.
individual?
You ask them.
Oh, people, we have a reputation to keep. Come on. Okay, and just because I'm always, you know, like I bring in like so many, like if you watch like from my podcast, it has like people from so many different ethnicities and backgrounds, and it's always like a very fun segment when we start talking, and because if you have like old school parents who like, you know, really never mixed with a lot of people,
Right.
like because of like just circumstances, then people are just a bit segregated, like apart from now, even
Yeah.
like just from social media, it's a whole different
Yeah.
ball game. You have different friends from different places, you can reach out and you just start liking somebody and going out with them, and it's like so many different cultures are like just cross interacting, making beautiful babies and everything.
Yeah, I have to say though, because my parents were so accepting
Yeah.
and have been all my life,
Yeah.
I was very naive when it came to racism in Europe or the Netherlands specifically.
Yeah. In what
Because
way?
I-
Like you didn't know it existed, or?
I mean, I knew it existed, but I didn't know the extent of it
Yeah.
until I was with him.
Oh,
And
now you
I
started
saw
noticing.
things happening. Yeah.
Like what? Things like what?
Like I remember one time we were taking the train together, and some white dude was screaming at me out of nowhere that I was betraying my race by dating
He
a
actually-
non-white guy, and he even said the N-word.
Ooh.
And I remember because he was a DJ, and then I remember one day he was working and he was talking to a white girl in the club, and this was back home in like a very non-diverse area
Yeah.
of the country where there's
Mm-hmm.
mostly white people living.
Yeah.
And he was talking to this girl, and he didn't have any intentions with her. He was just, making small talk. And then her brother came up to him afterwards and was like, "My sister's not allowed to talk to N-word. You leave her alone, blah, blah, blah." So he was like, whatever, go fuck yourself. And he just left.
Yeah.
And then next thing he knew, they put his head on the freaking bar, and they were just beating him up until he was unconscious. And that is the most extreme
Okay, now
example.
that's
There's a lot
extreme.
of, microaggressions whenever we would go. I noticed that if I would go out shopping by myself, that I would never be followed by any staff in a store. But then whenever I was with him, we would always be followed around.
And that's crazy.
All these
those little
small
things that Yeah.
Yeah. So that is something that I became aware of, and I really didn't know beforehand.
Then pay attention to it.
How severe it was.
Yeah, my. So since you let's say you broke up with your 7-year
9-year. Yeah.
9-year boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
have you had an experience dating like maybe somebody from like your race? Because now I'm guessing like you're more mature in a different way because you met him like when you were young, super young.
Yeah.
And that's who you've known like for 9 years you're talking about. So have you been able to step out and
No, I mean I've been messing
dig back,
around.
messing around?
Yeah, like
Okay.
casual situationships that never really led anywhere.
What's casual to you? Like just going on dates or sleeping around? What do you mean?
Like going on dates that don't really go anywhere.
You have nothing in
Or-
common with somebody.
I don't think you need to have things in common with a person.
What do you look
necessarily.
for like when you're dating? Like is it conversation, vibe? Is it sexual? Like
Like
what are the
all
things that
combined?
Mhm.
But for me, usually it helps when my partner is a little more outgoing than I am, because I have a tendency to shut myself off of everybody when I'm not feeling that well. So
Yeah. Somebody who can at least take you somewhere or just out of that shell
Yeah.
and make you feel.
just someone who's a little more lighthearted than I am at times.
Wait, what do you mean? That
I mean, it
are
can
you
get
still
severe
talking
in my
about
head.
somebody who can like cry on your shoulder again? Are we talking about that?
I mean, I think the thing that mostly goes wrong in relationships is just lack of communication,
Yeah.
which happened to me as well. So I think communication is very important, that someone is capable of expressing how they feel and what's going on inside their head. I think that's one of the most important things.
Is that what happened in your previous relationship?
Yeah, he had a lot of personal issues he was dealing with. But he wasn't really willing to deal with them in a healthy way. I'm not going to spill too much information because that's his story to tell. And
Yeah, you don't have to. We'll have him in the podcast maybe next time.
I don't think so.
He'll say everything. He'll say everything. He'll spill all the tea that I need.
So I was gradually it was changing into a relationship where I was taking care of him full time to an unhealthy level.
Emotionally? Or?
Yeah, emotionally. And at some point I just couldn't deal with it anymore.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Women don't want like weak men.
I mean, I don't
You
think
don't.
someone,
You really don't. You
I don't
might
know-
say that, but if once you start getting somebody who's like
I don't think
really
that I get along with weak people in general.
yeah.
But I wouldn't say he was weak. He just wasn't ready to admit to certain problems that he had, and he didn't know how to deal with them, and he was just kind of pretending that they weren't there, and things were just
building up.
gradually getting worse and worse and worse. And he didn't realize the full extent of all of his issues until I left. So I think that was the biggest wake-up call for him. But yeah, I have no resentment towards him. I hope he's happy.
You're still friends?
I mean, no, he's always gonna be in my heart. I grew up together with him. I was a child when we got together. He was too. But I don't feel like having a friendship with him.
How comes you never got a tattoo of his name?
I think getting tattoos of your partner's name is just very stupid in general. I think that's kind of jinxing the relationship at
It's
some
like,
level.
yo, you're gonna break up every time you do that. It's
Right.
like, oh,
It's all gonna go wrong after that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. That's a rule that I set for myself. Never get a partner's
Yeah,
name
because you seem to
tattooed.
you can wake up one day and go get a tattoo about this and that. So I was thinking
Yeah.
if you stayed with him for 9 years,
Nah.
at least he deserves at least a neck tattoo. At least a neck tattoo.
A neck tattoo is so visible as
Somewhere
well.
here next to yeah.
I don't think so.
What kind of qualities though do you look for when you're looking for love in someone? What do you look for? I know one for sure.
Which is what?
They have to be black.
That's not like. That is mostly the case. Or that okay.
Oh,
That is
okay.
always the case.
Yeah,
But it's not. It's not
mhm.
like. I don't go out looking specifically for black guys.
So you say, okay.
And also, ever since I broke up with my ex, I've mostly been here. So,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and there's not that many
Oh yeah.
white people here.
Oh, they're there. They're there.
I mean, there's a couple.
Yeah.
Nah, not interested. Yeah. So,
But do you think
and also,
it's easier for you right now because you're kind of used to him? Do you think you're maybe chasing something that's close to him? Because at times people
No.
say that thing of at times there are people who have a pattern of their exes. You'd meet someone's ex and then you're like, oh, now I understand. This is the kind of person they.
Well, I remember when I was younger, my mom is a very strong person and just a strong personality. When she walks into a room, everybody notices that she's there.
Yeah.
And I think to some extent my sister and I have the same thing going on.
Mhm.
And she has always told me, Charlotte, the way that you deal with problems, and you're very mature for your age, because I did all the therapy that helped.
Yeah.
And she said, you're quite a strong person, and that probably means, because she went through the same thing, that you're gonna attract men that are weaker than you to kind of support on you. And she was right about that. I always thought
That was your mom, right?
whatever, yeah. She
Yeah,
told
and
me
that's
that.
what I was
But
saying,
think-
and I say this. Didn't I say this earlier? Because I'm no. But do you think, have you tried people who are not super emotional or just
So
people
right
are
now,
just slightly stronger?
right now I'm seeing somebody that I for the first time in my life. I feel like I'm not the caretaker in the relationship. I just I feel equal.
Yeah, they
So
have.
that's new to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And for some reason, that is also a pattern that I've noticed. That I usually I usually have to dumb myself down for guys in order to keep
Come on.
the conversation going, in order for them to, understand everything that's going on. And
What do you mean?
I
What
mean,
kind of
that's just what
people?
I
What
did.
kind of people do you meet? What kind of people are these that you?
on an academic level as well. And this is the first time that I'm dating.
Yeah.
We're not together yet. I don't know what is happening. We'll see in a few months' time.
Mm-hmm.
First time that I'm seeing somebody that I don't feel that way around. I don't feel like I constantly have to explain
It's like
myself.
you're teaching
Right.
them everything, and
Because he just gets it already.
yeah.
And then we just teach each other things all the time. It's it goes both ways. You know what
As
I
it
mean?
should be. I mean, don't
Yeah.
entertain weak men. Let them be. Just let them be. Let them be. Because, now when you're going through stuff, you also want to feel like you can actually now go to somebody and actually feel like they can kind of comfort you in some way.
Right.
Even if it's emotionally. Doesn't matter how tall you are, Doesn't matter how tall you
He's
are.
taller than I am.
Oh,
Thank God.
okay. Yeah, but I'm just saying, at least you can kind of get, you can feel like it's somebody that you can go and actually just.
Right. And like I said, he just has a way of communicating that is healthy. So he just expresses whatever is going on in his mind, and I do the same thing. And like, I never lie around him. I never have to conceal whatever I'm feeling. So I think that's a big plus, definitely.
Okay. What are deal breakers for you in a relationship?
I think one of the most important ones is a lack of ambition. Like, that is a huge turnoff for me.
Okay.
People that have no ambition in life, not just in potential partners, but just in people in general.
Those are weak men.
Yeah. I don't know.
Weak.
I don't know if that's weak. Maybe
Weak.
it's just laziness.
No, weak.
I don't know.
Laziness is just an excuse because you can wake up in the morning and you can wake up in the morning and do something. And at times, if somebody's like that, they actually start like that energy start dribbling down on you as well. Yeah. So you have to stay away from such people.
So that is one big thing, and then I usually go for guys who are a little taller than I am, because I always feel
That's
like
insane, man.
such a
Come
freaking
on.
giant everywhere.
That's not even like fair to people who like maybe are looking at you and they like you, because they're like, what? 6.
No, but I have to say that usually shorter guys are intimidated by my height. So
There is no way.
they're not interested in me.
You're
anyways.
lying.
No,
Like,
it's
listen,
true.
think about it this way. Like, even for me, how I can look at it is a lot of people, like, even when it comes to like mainstream industry and stuff, people always like dating like even supermodels and stuff. Like Eddie Murphy has dated like a lot of okay, but then again, that's Eddie Murphy has like way too much money, so that does not apply. I'm just trying to think of the average people. Oh, okay, now that's just like, now my way of thinking was just like with millionaires. That's like a whole different example. But I'm just thinking,
Yeah,
like,
that's another level.
yeah, that's just a whole different thing.
But another.
Is it because you're uncomfortable dating shorter guys? It doesn't make you happy?
No, I've actually dated a shorter guy for a while.
How short is short?
He was this much shorter than I was.
That's penis size you're showing, because that can be like someone's height. Is
He was
this
like 5 centimeters shorter
whose
than
size
I.
is this? Who's this?
He would come up to here. But I would feel very self-conscious about it for some reason. Like, I noticed that if I would walk outside with him, I would kind of, like
Come on.
like
I think it's the hottest thing to actually date like okay, not too tall from my height. I think like it's hot though to have like, just like a slightly tall girlfriend.
no, you know what I like?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind being tall. I like it in general, but I like it even more when I'm with a guy who's also tall as fuck, and you walk into a restaurant or something and people are just like,
What is this? What is this?
who are these two giants?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Okay, yeah, true. You also just have like a lot in common though. I think it's harder if you're dating like it just is weird probably, right?
What?
Dating like a shorter guy for you.
Yeah.
From personal experience.
I mean, I have done it before. I'm not saying I never would do it
It's
again.
not your cup of tea. Let's say that.
It's just not something that I usually go for. And one other thing that really turns me off in people is when they're being
Come closer to the
rude
mic.
to serving staff.
No, you can't do that. And I'm always telling people that you can't do that.
A while ago, I went on a date with he was Nigerian, by the way. We went on a date, and he was so freaking rude to the serving staff, the girl who was serving our table. And I told him, like, don't be a fucking dick. She's being nice. She's just doing her freaking job. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh.
And he's like, I'm not being a dick. And he just continued his behavior.
Why are you saying it like that? Like, I'm not being a dick.
And at one point, I had enough of it. So I left.
Yeah.
I was like, bye, this is not going to work out. Bye. And I just left.
And that's it?
Yeah, I never saw him again.
What?
That's not going to work out ever in life.
But, okay, here's the thing. Well, again, was he being rude or was he just being like Nigerian? Because they can come off a bit. Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, let's just be honest. Like, a majority of Nigerians are like just, aggressive even when they talk. And it might come off
yeah, their
like
way of talking can be a little aggressive.
It can be because it's like, it's confrontational.
No.
You might think like, maybe he just wanted some extra salt in his food, but the way he's asking for this extra salt is like, I need that extra salt or else.
No, because I'd been around him for some time, so I knew how he would interact with people, and he was just being plain rude to her.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that.
I'm always saying,
And
if
then
you
I
have,
said, bye,
you left him.
talk to you never.
If you have a problem with your food, know that if you're sending it back in the kitchen and you're rude, this is the same person who's handling your food.
Right.
And
You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You might spit in it.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, anything goes once it's in there, like you wouldn't know. And you don't want to have like that at the back of your head.
No.
You'd rather if you don't like the food, don't be rude.
It's just a general rule in life. Don't be a dick to people unless they're being a dick to you.
Giving off that kind of energy is never like the right way to go.
Right.
So also, you wouldn't want somebody who's rude. What else? Does he necessarily have to be rich? Is that like a thing?
No.
How comes that's like a thing with this is also like a European kind of like a lot of girls from Europe. I'm guessing, not unless it's a bit of. Yeah, I hear like a lot of people just content with love and building together.
Right.
They
I
believe in
noticed
that.
that a lot of my Kenyan friends, a lot of male Kenyan friends
Yeah.
that I have, they're like, first I need to get all of my shit in order and then I'll be ready for a relationship. And I'm like,
Because that's what girls are demanding for.
Yeah,
you
I've
want to
noticed
have a
that.
nice car.
yeah, and you need to
money,
be able to take me out.
holidays
all the time,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't
No?
really. No, that's not
You want a rich boyfriend to fly you out in Dubai every other weekend,
Nah.
vacations,
I'd prefer
popping
just
champagne
being
bottles.
able to pay for my own shit.
Really? And I heard like even you guys like on dates, like you believe in splitting bills and everything.
Yeah. I
What?
love splitting bills.
What? Very foreign concept indeed. Very foreign concept indeed. No, but I'm just saying it's a whole different. The cultural differences are insane, and I'm just always intrigued to know how different people are. Because I'd bring somebody in the podcast and they say, look, if he doesn't have his shit together, if he's not paying my rent, if he's not paying for my car, if he's not fueling my car, if he's not doing A, B,
I
C,
think
and
that's
D.
ridiculous. He needs to pay for my fuel. Get the fuck out of yourself.
Yeah. After getting the car, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, the fuel comes
insane
after the
to
car,
me.
though, right?
No, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
But how's the climate like in Holland? Because most people here say it's just because as a result of social media. That's why a lot of just girls in general are trying to adapt into all the things they're seeing in social media. The mainstream actors, artists who are are in these reality shows, and that's almost something that they're trying to emulate. Because somebody said the other day, was it last week, that all the hoes are winning right now. And it is indeed a fact.
Like in what way? Give me
They're
an example.
Kim Kardashian, man.
You can't call women hoes.
I'm not the one who's saying
No,
that was
but
a
you're
phrase.
Sort of agreeing with it because you
No.
you just said.
No,
"Yeah,
listen,
they're right."
you see, when I say that, it's people because from our country, I'd say a lot of people are heavily influenced with Western culture when it comes to fashion, music, even what we watch, just movies, just American movies.
Yeah.
We listen to hip hop a lot, maybe dancehall and reggae, but that's minimal.
Yeah.
But a lot of influence comes from the American culture. So let's say somebody like Cardi B, of course, she was a stripper and climbing up all these hurdles and everything. People are not looking up to Michelle Obama. All these young,
I
a
think
few
I think
mature
it
women
fully
are
depends on
mature.
who you're asking.
No, mature women could be, but the young girls who now are the wave on the internet and influencing each other heavily. It's through people
I mean, Cardi B is problematic in some ways, and so is Kim
Some
Kardashian.
ways. Oof.
Yeah, but they have built their own brand out of
Yeah.
nowhere, which is something that I can fully appreciate. And
Keyword
Kim
from
Kardashian-
nowhere.
Right. And Kim Kardashian, I mean, her dad was rich already,
True.
but she like her ex-boyfriend released a sex tape of them together without her permission, and then she just created
Come
an
on,
entire.
it was with her permission. Come on.
I mean, later on, she was cashing in on it because she was like, "It's already out anyway, so I'm gonna earn money from this."
Yeah.
Which is
The right thing to do.
logical, I would think.
Yeah, because it's already out there. You'd
Right.
rather like at least get compensated.
And then she created an entire empire out of one dumb sex tape with her whole entire family. I mean,
Yeah. So
go Kim Kardashian.
So any young girl looking at that blueprint, coming from a sex tape, evolving, Cardi B.
I don't think
Cardi
any
B.
young girl looks at Kim Kardashian and thinks, maybe I should also make a sex tape and
What? You
release
don't think
it."
so?
No. I think,
And when Cardi B saying things like, fuck him, then get some money,
nah,
you don't think like young girls are taking that like,
I
end
don't
up
think so. Because girls are still shamed so much for owning their sexuality. So I don't think
Come on.
anybody is going to release a sex tape on their own terms. At least not a lot of people. This is not a...
Yeah, it
I think
probably
that's
won't.
widely
It
spread.
won't make you a lot of money right now because Pornhub is already there we have a lot of free content. By the way, thank you. And I'm just saying, hold on, let me make sure we're still rolling. So should we agree to disagree on that?
Yeah, we will. But you were
Yeah.
just talking about Western culture, and I think even within...
Heavily influences.
Yeah. But
I
even
just
within a
wish our girls would get influence from Europe instead of States, because Europe it's a whole different like.
Do you think Europe is less toxic than the US is?
Definitely, US is everything's just like messed up with in terms of influence. They're the worst. They're doing so much damage to everybody else.
I mean, the far right is also on the rise in the whole of Europe, which I find scary as hell.
The what?
The far right, like
What's
far right politicians.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But even, within the West, there's so many differences. Like the US is, in some ways, not comparable to Europe at all. Because my sister, like I said, she moved to the US, and you would think that like Netherlands, Texas, there are some similarities, of course, but still, she ran into cultural differences that I think are kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
And right now, the guy that I'm seeing is also American. He's half Nigerian. He's never been to Africa, though, so I would say Nigerian
Oh,
influences.
he's never been in Africa?
No.
Oh. Another one. I see. You see what I was talking about?
What?
Kind of looking for the same thing, almost like, almost the same thing.
Yeah, it didn't start out like that, though. I was just talking to him because I thought he was interesting. Same thing for him.
It's all good. You don't have to make up any excuses.
It's not an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how it went down.
Oh, yeah.
Because I met him on Twitter. Isn't that the weirdest thing?
How? People still link up on Twitter, like, because did he have his actual picture there?
Yeah, I did
Okay.
too.
And you actually sent a nice tweet, and then you're like, oh, this guy must be funny, and,
No, like
I'd like to meet one of my Twitter followers.
No, a guy that I was following retweeted something that the American guy had tweeted.
Yeah.
And I saw that, passing by my timeline, and I don't even remember what it said, but I thought it was the funniest thing, so I just went over to his profile, followed him, blah, blah, blah. Just because he was funny, and I could see his location, which was like somewhere in the US, so I thought, this, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking, and we hit it up from there.
So this is a long distance kind of relationship?
It's not a relationship yet. I would call it a
So what is it if it's not a
situationship.
relationship and it's long distance? Okay, then how do you deal with that? Let's say you like someone, you're seeing them, and they're like just miles away. You get to only see them like after a couple of months.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, black men don't cheat, so of course that's a plus.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, how do you just like, how do you manage to like just be in this situation with just being away from each other?
Well, I saw him in March. That was the first and the last time that I saw him. So I went over there.
Which March?
Last March.
Last year?
No, this year. So 2 months ago.
What are you talking about?
I went there 2 months ago. It's May.
So you met him in March?
Yeah. So I went
Okay.
over there, and
Girls from Europe are very interesting.
why?
I'm just
Am
saying.
I a representative of all European girls?
I mean, you're on the podcast, so you're representing them. Yeah.
So I went there, and I had always said that I wasn't gonna do long distance,
Yeah.
and I still kind of stand by that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm seeing him again in June. So then we'll try and figure stuff out, I guess.
Hey, all the best, man.
Thanks.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Nah,
Long
it's not
distance
easy.
is like just...
But some people are worth the trouble,
No, yeah, and definitely, of course. If somebody you see, like, they're worth it, hey, why not take those chances? Because it's already hard as it is right now to, like, just meet genuine people. It's very tricky in this, like, day and age. It's not as easy as it used to be, like, a long time ago.
Yeah, true.
So where do you see yourself, like, then in terms of, like, just... Do you want to start like a family maybe in future? Because, a lot of girls maybe set targets for themselves. Like, by the time I get to this age, I'd want to have like a kid. By the time I get to this age, I'd want to have to be like in a family setting and just, take it from there.
Yeah, I think right now I'm still way too selfish to be having kids. Because like I'm always gallivanting around.
Yeah.
Wherever I want to go, I go.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that you can't really do anymore once you start having
You can't.
babies.
Yeah.
So I'm 27 right now. I don't really have a time span set up for myself, but I just want to maybe in a couple years settle down somewhere, and because I like always being on the move, but at some point it also gets a little tiring.
You can't do that once you start a family, though.
No,
Right?
you can't. So I do want to have kids. I always said I didn't want them for the longest time, up until like a year ago, I think. Because I think having kids or wanting to have kids is inherently a very selfish choice.
Yeah.
There's already way too many people on this earth anyway. And the earth is probably gonna go to shit in a couple 100 years.
I just posted something yesterday. The population of... Where was it? Look at that population. Nigeria population as of late.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
even though there's far less people in Europe than there's in Africa, Europeans are currently causing way more damage to the planet.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, more men for you. Have a look at this.
That's a very big number. 201 million people in one country.
Yes.
How many times does Kenya fit into Nigeria? Do you know?
Probably, I don't know, maybe 3, 4?
How many people is in Kenya in total? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't want to misquote, but probably 35, 45.
Okay.
Between 35 and 45 mil, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But it has to be between 35, 45. 201 is insane. It's a lot.
It is. Yeah.
It's a lot especially for like a country that, I'm also keeping in mind that they don't have like systems in place that, favor them. There is crazy corruption there as well. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Have you ever been there or no?
No. I wanted to go for Lagos Fashion Week.
Oh, you did?
But yeah, I was invited to go and do like a digital content kind of thing, but I wasn't doing the podcast then.
Okay.
But I think it would be appropriate right now because I have a podcast, it's mobile and everything. Maybe that would be like the works for, because they have amazing, like their fashion.
It's on point.
Oof.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it is.
Especially for the Lagos Fashion Week, it's insane. It's something that I didn't expect because I saw it like afterwards on Instagram and I was like, I should have gone.
I think Lagos must be one of the most overwhelming places in the world.
It has to be.
I have Nigerian friends and they would always tell me, Charlotte,
Yeah.
before you go to Nigeria, see some other African countries first because you're not prepared yet.
I hear it's a lot. It's a lot to digest.
I feel like right now I'm probably prepared.
And everything is like just like that, snappy. You
Yeah.
know how they operate, snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you think somebody was being rude to your waiter, you wait till you get there.
I like Nigerians though. I think it's funny how
Yeah.
extra they can be sometimes.
Sure.
And I like how
Yeah.
direct they are.
Yeah, a bit too direct, but and that's why I
Yeah.
was asking you, like, were you sure he was being rude, or he was
No.
just being like,
Yeah, he was being rude. Yeah.
okay, then
very clearly.
that's definitely like on the extreme side. So I think we've just touched on quite like a lot, and
This thing is going to be 5 hours long.
probably I think 2.5, because we've taken like so many breaks because of my freaking batteries and
Okay.
like just the breaks that we've taken, like just to confirm whether everything is running smoothly. Probably 2.5, but we've talked like about a lot, and we can always like do a part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
So you're moving to Uganda for now, right?
Yeah, well, I was planning on being in Uganda for a pretty long time, but now I've just decided.
How much is long?
I wanted to, live there and see wherever life would take me again, but now,
Really?
yeah.
How do people do that? How do you just
Because
wake
I'm
up one day and
freelancing, so I can basically
Oh.
work from anywhere, as long as I have my computer.
as long as you just submit your articles and
yeah,
stuff,
then
you're good.
Then I'm fine. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, then that's actually
But now, with this whole situation going on with the guy that I met in the U.S., I don't know what's gonna happen. So for now, I've
Are
decided.
you planning to take a break on your career for this guy?
Nah, not a break on my career. I'll always be working, but I'm gonna be in Uganda
That's
for
beautiful.
A couple weeks doing research for
Yeah,
the book.
For the book, of
Yeah,
course.
then I'll go back home for 2 weeks, and then I'll just go to the U.S. afterwards for some time, see my sister, see him
Where does he stay in the U.S.?
in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought it was Atlanta. Atlanta's there.
No,
There's a lot
he's
going on
from
there.
Atlanta,
Oh,
Georgia.
Yeah, but those are the most faithful ones. You know that. Black men don't cheat. Black men don't cheat. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we've talked about like a lot. Is there something that you want to plug before we say it's a wrap for the podcast?
Shout out to my friend Lina. She was begging me for this on Instagram like an hour ago.
For what?
Shout out to my friend.
Oh,
My Dutch friend Lina.
Lina?
Yeah.
Okay, Lina, shout outs to you, man. And you have an amazing friend. She definitely did not forget about you. We made sure we've said this segment just for you. Yeah, so where can people find you on Instagram, maybe, if you want people to follow you?
My Instagram is charlotte.simons, Simons. I'm on Twitter, but I mostly tweet in Dutch, so that's probably not the most interesting thing.
Yeah.
So just my Instagram should be fine.
But that's where all the love happens, guys. Twitter. Yeah, don't take it for granted, man. Don't take it for granted. Yeah. So yeah, make sure I'll just put the links down below. You can follow her, and you just be in tune with what's happening, and definitely be on the lookout for her book. And thank you so much for just coming within short notice. I mean, I know you have some famous shit to do out there.
Famous shit to do?
Yeah.
Nah, I think you're overstating things.
No, I'm just saying, I'm sure you had things that, maybe you had planned, or just the timing was like very short notice, and you definitely were down to do it. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing. Like, you've shared like a lot of stuff that are intimate, some that people can shy away from talking about. And when was the last time you had like such a conversation that evolved around a lot of different things? And
this many things?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Probably with the guy that I was just talking about,
Yeah. So you hear that? So what you can take away from here? Like, there's something special about Kenyan guys as well. You can hold on a decent conversation. No. We're not talking about, forget about the others. I'm talking about myself. Okay, let me rephrase that.
There's
I'm
something
talking about
special
myself.
you. That's what
There's
you want to
something
say.
special about me. We've held a long conversation about so much. And, even after this, we're still having probably lunch, and we'll still talk some more.
Yes.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I can't thank you enough. Thanks. And I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll do that Skype thing.
Yes.
Probably in a month or two.
Cool.
And see how everything is going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll ask about relationship status. I'll ask about so many book status and just where you are in life, because it seems like you're taking a leap of faith in a lot of things. And like I'm always saying, like on the podcast, I mean, the older, like the more you grow into adulthood, you'd think like things are supposed to be like figured out, but you're always figuring out something new and chasing something new. Just crazy. And one more question before we wrap it up. I normally ask this everyone. What do you think is the one thing that you're in pursuit of right now, and if you got it, it would give you like a more sense of belonging, direction, happiness, fulfillment? What's that one thing do you think you're in pursuit of?
Feeling a little less restless, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Very simple. I had somebody in the last 2 episodes, they said they wanted a Bugatti and a jet. I was like, hey, listen, I think, we can save that conversation for another podcast.
I wouldn't say no to a jet. So if anybody wants to donate, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. So guys, it's the Kisscapades podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify. What's the other one for Android? Castbox for Android users. YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Facebook, Instagram. We do snippets every single day. And at the end of the week, you get the full episode. So thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. It's the Kisscapades podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay.
Kwaherini.
Yeah. Kwaheri. I'll just say that again.
Kwaherini. Because I'm saying it to more than more than one person, right? So you say kwaherini.
Who taught you that?
I was taught Tanzanian Swahili, not Kenyan
Oh
Swahili.
yeah, then that's not Kenyan Swahili. Yeah, just say tuonane baadaye. Sema tuonane baadaye. I'll see you later. Yes. Try saying that.
Tuonana baadaye.
Nice one. Okay. Not bad at all. See you guys. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Kisscapades podcast.